meeting of the Maine Township Board is called to order. Would everyone please stand for the pledge of allegiance?
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, may I roll call?
Assessor Fry.
Here.
Highway Commissioner Gervais. Here. Clerk Giolano is here. Supervisor Diamond.
Here.
Trustee Jones.
Here.
Trustee Horvath.
Here.
Trustee Maher.
Here.
Trustee Willie.
Okay, fine. All right, we'll start going to our agenda right now. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 24th board meeting?
Motion to approve the minutes of October 24th, 2023 board meeting. Second.
Okay, any comments or questions about those minutes? Then may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes?
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Willie.
Yes. Make a motion to approve the minutes of November 9th, 2023. This is one of our agency funding special meetings.
Motion to approve the minutes of November 9th, 2023 agency funding special meeting. Second.
Any questions or comments about that set of minutes? Make a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes?
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Willie.
Okay. Make a motion to approve the general assistance expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for paydates of October 27, 2023, November 10, 2023, and November 24, 2023. Hang on. I saw general in a minute. Okay, let me start that one, please. Motion to approve payroll for paydates of October 27, 2023, November 10, 2023, and November 24, 2023, and general assistance checks 55140 through check number 55190 in the amount of $46,208.34.
Thank you. So, second?
Second.
All right. Any questions about this motion? All right, roll call.
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes?
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Willie.
Yes. Okay, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the road district expenditures?
I'll make a motion to approve payroll for paydates of October 27, 2023, November 10th, 2023, and November 24th, 2023, and road district checks number 23142 through check number 23184, total amount of $144,286.69.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments about this motion? And none, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes?
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Willie.
Yes. Next, I have a motion to approve the general town fund expenditures.
Motion to approve payroll for paydates of October 27, 2023, November 10th, 2023, and November 24th, 2023, and general town fund checks numbered 60621 through check number 60687, total amount $334,304.67.
Second. Any questions or comments about this motion? Okay, may I have a roll call?
Supervisor Diamond.
Yes?
Trustee Jones.
Yes.
Trustee Horvath.
Yes.
Trustee Maher.
Yes.
Trustee Willie.
Yes. Thank you very much. Now on our agenda is public participation. Do we have a request for public participation?
There is none.
None. Okay, fine. We do have, hope to have a guest perhaps later this evening. That would be Senator Bill Lam, giving us an update from Springfield, but we'll skip over that for right now and move on to some acknowledgement and congratulations to our staff members. So first of all, I would like Emily Toomey to step up to the front. Emily, where are you? Where is she? Pardon?
She should be here any minute. She's leaving mentoring early to get over here,
Oh,
so
okay.
she
All
should be
right,
here
I knew we
soon.
saw her earlier, but okay, fine. All right, what I would like to do then, while we're waiting, is I would like to direct the board members to extra papers that were left at your place this evening. And there's a packet here. One at the top one is a listing of some upcoming events. It's a revised list that has some additional events on it. But also you'll see some laudatory comments we received about some of our staff members. Now I'd like to say that we often get compliments about our staff, and I don't always announce it, perhaps I should. But we just had a number of interesting ones this month. As you all know, we had a recycling event in November, which was both shredding of paper and electronics recycling. And it was a difficult day. There were a huge number of crowds, a number of cars lined up. But we did get this very nice letter from a lady who left her purse in a bag that she threw in the recycling bin. And it's a great compliment here to both Eddie Lewinsky and Jessica Fox. And she goes on and on in her letter about how much they helped her. And they had to call the sheriff's police because the van had driven away, and they had to, somebody had to dig through the van and get this purse out, but they eventually did and returned it to the owner. So I thought that was just really a very nice comment that she actually is a woman who was pretty embarrassed about having done this, but she did take the time to write a letter about Eddie and Jessica. Also in this packet we have a couple of emails about Eva, referring to her as the best FOIA officer I've ever seen, which, you really don't get compliments being a FOIA officer. You're the only person I ever have heard of getting a compliment because you're a FOIA officer. So it is a thankless job, but, Eva has been very professional about it, has been filmed, I think, a couple of times now by the First Amendment auditors. This is not something she relishes, but it's something that's unfortunately part of her job.
Did you see the smile on her face when he was walking through?
And she just puts up with this. So I just want to congratulate you on keeping your cool, despite having these somewhat upsetting visitors come to us. And then another thing, I don't have a piece of paper in your packet right here, but it's something that I think is pretty significant, and that is that Edward Lewinsky and Nader, I'm very sorry, I spelled your name wrong on the form. It's N-A-D-E-R, correct? Sorry. Nader have achieved a remarkable, I think, point in the smoke detector installation. They've installed over 100 of them now. So I think that's terrific. That means 100 private homes in an unincorporated area of Maine Township now have smoke detectors in them, and this is the new kind with a battery that doesn't have to be replaced, and it meets the requirements of state law now for all new batteries to be, smoke detectors to be installed. And so you would actually install more than one in just a home. I think we actually do that several in each home, but now you've done over 100 homes, is that correct? So I think there's just 100 homes that are safer than they were before. So I just want to congratulate you both on having done this many, and I understand you're still at it, and we'll continue. So let us know when you get 200, okay? So that will also be something we'd be very proud of. So anyway,
Can I just add
oh yes, please go ahead.
This list,
Please do.
add neighborhood watch to this every month.
I am sorry, you are correct. Let me write that down right now.
Which will be first Wednesday in every month.
So what is that today?
December 6th.
December 6th? Yes, December 6th.
Okay.
Thank you.
December 6th, and that's at the time is 7 p.m., 7 p.m., is that right?
7th, yes.
All right. And then it will be again in January. Let me just write this down right now. January, will that be the first Wednesday as usual?
Yep, January 3rd.
January 3rd, 7 p.m.? Okay, all right,
It's always the first Wednesday of the month,
okay,
unless there's some sort of.
all right. as long as people are looking at their upcoming events right now, I did want to ask Marie, here you are. Marie, can you tell us a little bit more about this tree decorating at Lutheran General? And, board members can then let me know if they want to be there for that event?
Yeah, Trustee Kelly and Beverly also said that they will come, so it's December 6th.
Would you mind, I'm sorry, lower the mic, I just can't hear you very well.
So the hospital was looking for volunteers to decorate some of the Christmas trees at Lutheran General. So they, we had a member who is a volunteer there who kind of connected all of us there. So we have about 20 people that are volunteering on December 6th. At 8:45 we're meeting by the flower shop.
8:45 a.m.
8:45 a.m. and we have like a floor plan of what trees we need to be decorated. They will have the trees set up already with lights, we just have to put the ornaments on.
All right, so if any of the board members want to participate, can they just
Sure, they can just
show
let
up
us-
at 11:45?
or let us know.
8:45 on that day.
Yeah, they could just let me know too, because
Okay.
we got Santa hats for everybody.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Maureen, thanks very much. So that would be on the same day, only in the morning. So, all right, thank you. All right, now we were just talking now about employees, and as the board members, for the most part, know, because they were in Springfield for the conference, Emily Toohey did win an award, and we were very pleased to accept it on her behalf. And we have it here for you, Emily. And this is the Association of Illinois Townships Committee on Youth. And Emily was awarded this Joining 23 at COI Staff Award at the conference earlier this month as a result of her commitment and dedication to helping youth in our community, and also particularly having some new and innovative programs and bringing kids into the program that might not have been accepted in all programs in the past, even some children with behavior issues. And so I think it's really wonderful that we're able to extend this service to the youth of Maine Township. So I'm going to ask the board members if you would like to just step down in front of the dais right here, and the other elected officials if they wish or not. And we'll just take a picture with Emily here.
Should have always at the end.
Okay, all right. These are even here.
Jim, if you could maybe go up top.
Sure.
Thanks.
That's right.
Great,
Okay.
thanks.
Thank you, Joe.
We're looking for you at the conference to carry the flag next week, which you're right on stage.
And we have one other personnel matter I'd like to mention, and that is we have a new employee. And Stephanie, would you like to just stand up so people can see? This is Stephanie Janis.
Yes.
And she has joined our staff as the office manager of general assistance. And so Kathy has some help that she's needed for some time now, and we're delighted to have you. Thanks for coming this evening so we can all meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. All right, fine. Well, let's proceed with old business. And that is listed as, first of all, discussion, possible vote on the adoption of the town fund, general assistance, and road and bridge levies. Dan, I think you had some information to share on this, is that right? Oh, yeah, we'll just actually go back to our agenda, as I see Senator Villalobos is here now, and we'll go back to number 7 on our agenda before moving forward. Welcome, Senator. We're delighted to have you here this evening. This is Senator Ron Villalobos. And, as many of you know, Senator Lori Murphy represents the western part of our district. Senator Ron Villalobos represents more of the eastern part of our district, including where I live and where Jim lives. And we're delighted to have you come and join us tonight. I understand that you have perhaps some updates from Springfield. Would you like to step over to the podium where there is a microphone? You know, take your coat off first if you want to get comfortable. And we'll be delighted to hear whatever you can tell us from your time in Springfield.
Well, thank you so much for that kind introduction, Supervisor. It's great to be here. Good evening, everyone. As was mentioned, I'm Ron Villalobos. I'm State Senator for the 8th District, which includes over 25 neighborhoods in the city of Chicago, from Albany Park to West Rogers Park, and then includes the suburbs of Lincolnwood, Skokie, Niles, Morton Grove, a little bit of Park Ridge, and obviously both townships, Niles Township and Maine Township. As was mentioned, Senator Murphy, my colleague, represents most of Maine Township. I have approximately or more than 15,000 residents in my district that live in Maine Township. And as a result of kind of the work we do in Springfield and having to help decipher what we do as I come back to the district, I do these visits across the district with my municipalities and our townships as well. I'll be brief. I know that it's a meeting and there's, I'm sure, a full agenda. I just wanted to give a brief update in terms of what's happening in Springfield, share some legislation that's particularly relevant, and then, include my contact information any way I can help. But I'm proud to say, as you all know, we go to Springfield January to the end of May for our legislative session. We also have veto session in October and November for a couple weeks. And just to give you a frame of reference, each new General Assembly, 177 legislators descend upon Springfield, and we introduce approximately 6,000 pieces of legislation in total. And I'm happy to say we have a process. Most of the time it works. Not all of the 6,000 bills are good ideas. Some of them are works in progress still. And as a result of that, we really see at the end of May, we had about 565 bills go to the governor's desk for his signature veto or mandatorily veto. And just in that process, he mandatory vetoed about 6 bills. Happy to touch on those. And so we work through our process. The most fundamental responsibility we have is our budget. We have a $50.6 billion budget on behalf of 12.6 million residents in our state. We have the 5th straight year of our balanced budget. We've had 9 credit rating upgrades in 2 years. So we are on the path to righting the ship. It does not come without its challenges. I always talk about the 3 Ps, property taxes, pensions, and public safety. Some of my colleagues wonder why I bring that up proactively. I bring it up to say we are making some progress, but we also always know that we need to make more progress on those 3 Ps. In terms of the budget, just speaking on those 3 Ps, for example, we invested a record, I would say more than $1 billion in our public education. For the first time ever, we pumped in $250 million to what's called Smart Start Illinois to make sure that birth to 5 is getting people that are in birth to, or youth that are in birth to 5 are getting the funding they deserve and they need to start off. And we know the statistics and data around early childhood education is very critical. We also pumped in an additional $350 million to our K through 12 education, which was the 6th year that we're doing it. And then we gave 7% increases to all of our higher ed institutions. Why am I mentioning this in particular here? In 2017, the first year that we pumped in an additional $350 million, to our K through 12 education. There was a bill that changed how we fund education. And up until that year, we were 45th in funding of education from the state, which means that it had to come from, the funding for education had to come from our local property taxes. So we are on a mission to make our funding of education from the state #1 in the country. That way we can give our locals the ability to look at our property tax code and address that issue, the burden that our taxpayers face, without having to jeopardize funding education for our youth in our schools. So it's a process. We're in our 6th year. It's not going to happen overnight, but we are working to make sure we fund education from the state so it relieves the burden from property taxes eventually. We also pumped in a total of about $1 billion in public safety funding. We want to make sure that we're providing our police departments with resources. We're funding, we put about $10 million towards officer retention and recruitment. We're funding, obviously, body cameras. We're funding 300 new Illinois State Police officers, which is important because they're the ones that not only govern our state roads, but they're involved in a lot of background checks for our residents as well. And so that funding has been distributed throughout the state and is really important. We got to continue to do more. In terms of local government specifically for our budget, we were able to increase slightly what's called the local government distributed fund from, I got the exact percentages, it's ingrained in my head, 6.06 to 6.47. So we are trying to make sure that our local municipalities who provide an incredible array of services have funding that they need. I, in particular, worked to sponsor 37 pieces of legislation in the Senate. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're on my website. Happy to talk about them all. The one in particular I want to bring up here is that we have phenomenal township governments in my district, Niles Township, Maine Township. They go above and beyond the work that has been spelled out in state statute in terms of their responsibility. And I know this because I've had conversations both here and in Niles Township about them wanting to do more. And it just so happens the state statute has restricted them from doing more. So what we did was we worked with our township association and passed House Bill 3424, which expands the eligibility for townships to provide more services that include mental health, daycare, dental, and so many other different types of services that people are looking for, right? And the people that come to township government, it would be nice, right? It would work really well if they're seeking one service and the township is able to offer other services that they might be eligible for. So that is something that we worked on incredibly well with our Township Association of Illinois and passed in a bipartisan way, and the governor did sign it. I also want to speak just briefly on 2 issues. One is, I'm incredibly proud of the diversity of our district. I also have heard from constituents the concerns around safety and the rise in anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and much more. And I want to just make sure people are aware that we are working on this issue from a state perspective. We did pass a $20 million appropriations that is being administered by the Illinois Emergency Management Agency and Office of Homeland Security. And this $20 million is specifically dedicated towards organizations in our communities that have faced threats of terror or have potential threats of terror. And so our district has been, from FY23, has 28 organizations that have received funding for that. And so we're going to continue to make sure that organizations in our district are aware and that people feel safe. I also know that, this has come up, in our schools, my conversations with students. They want to not only feel safe, but also included. One of the bills that I've worked on is should provide halal and kosher food options for our youth in schools and those that are in state facilities and U of I Hospital. It's a legislation that's still in progress, We passed it in May, the governor vetoed it over implementation concerns, and we're working, we did pass the Senate and veto, and the House has yet to take it up, but we are working with them. It is an issue that I've heard as I've visited schools in Maine Township from our students and parents and teachers as well. Again, happy to talk about my legislation and any other legislation that folks want to potentially bring up. This is about that time where we reach out to the community and say, if you have a bill idea, please come see us. My office is on Devon in Pulaski. That's 3851 West Devon. Happy to come out here and talk as well. We head back to Springfield in the week of January 16th. So that's when this whole process starts over. But again, just want to say thank you for having me. Hopefully that update was helpful, and happy to answer any questions and stick around a little bit to see if folks have any questions afterwards as well.
Thank you, Senator. Do any of the board members have any questions for our elected officials? Senator, I'd just like to follow up on one thing you mentioned, House Bill 3424. Now, is that the bill that allows townships to use their general assistance funds for a wider variety of purposes?
Yes.
So, yeah, I've heard some comments that some people think that the courts may interpret it narrowly as to what we can do, but I understand it was pretty much the legislative intent to really expand opportunities for using those funds in different ways.
Yes. Great question. It is that legislation. We did, to your point, I passed it out of the Senate and it went to the House, and that question did come up, and there was what's called legislative intent recorded on the floor of the House. So that should be sufficient to answer any statutory questions. That being said, if we need to make it clear, as the Senate President, my leader says, we don't go out of business in Springfield, so we always come back next year. And we also have to say, there's no perfect bill. So we know that there's things that we have to continue to work on. So happy to take a look at that. And we're just grateful that, township government you all have your pulse to the ground, and you know what your constituents, our constituents are asking for, and to be able to give you more tools in your toolbox. It was great to get that request from you all as well.
Okay, and I have one other question regarding the Paid Leave for All Act, and we're aware of that having passed, and we were told that there might be some amendment to that bill to exclude townships. So, are you familiar with any such mandatory bill or not?
There are conversations that are being had about that legislation. There was, what we try to do is put these issues together in packages. Municipal government has raised concerns, special education, school districts have also raised concerns. And so what we're trying to do is gather those that have these concerns, excuse me, and try to see if we can work something out and address the challenges that have come with this legislation. I would love to follow up with you because we are, obviously the city of Chicago and Cook County adopted their own paid leave, particularly paid leave ordinances, and so that has a bearing. There's a relevance, but how it impacts, depends on the situation. So, but yes, there are conversations that are continuing to be had. And I think we would pick that up, I think, the week of January 16th when we're back.
Okay, we're trying to figure out, do we need to enact a policy now or later or when?
My understanding is that it does go into effect January 1, so I would be prepared to enact. I'm not an attorney, and I would advise you to talk to your folks, but I would. My understanding is it is going to affect January 1. But let's follow up because depending on actions that you may or may not have taken, with the Cook County ordinance, we can see how it might impact you.
Questions based on that, Jim?
I just have one quick one, Senator. You mentioned pensions. Can you amplify a little bit on that for us? Is that to preserve these pension funds, restrict their spending, make them grow faster? Can you tell us what the the thrust of
Yeah.
that is pension money?
Yeah, so I mentioned it in the context of, I think these, I call them the 3 Ps. I think they're issues that were created before I got there and before some of us were born in the Illinois General Assembly. However, they are issues that we have to deal with and we should deal with now. The pension obligation is an ongoing issue. Tier 2, which was enacted in 2011, is solvent. It is, changed the age from 55 to 67, no compounded interest. There was a cap, so if you're making X amount, if you're making $160,000, you can only get a percentage of that, as opposed to getting 80%, you can get a lower percentage of that after 30 years of working and so forth. So Tier 2 is solvent. Tier 1 is what's been in place for decades, and that is what is underfunded. And, unfortunately, there's no silver or magic bullet here. We have to continue to pay down our obligation. So what we've been doing is, for the last few years, is paying above and beyond our obligation. So this last year, we paid $500 million above our pension obligation in the effort to continue to pay down that obligation. There are some experts that say we need to re-amortize, and because we're right now, if you look at it generally, we're 38% funded of our pension obligation. So if we re-amortize, it would kick out the payment, and we would be at 70% approximately. These are all numbers I'm thinking of out loud, but from what I've read, by 2045. So it's a challenge that it came from not paying into our pension fund since the 1990s, and we're continuing to work to address it. And it comes with its own set of challenges, because as government looks to hire people, and you're no longer able to offer a Tier 1 pension, you're offering Tier 2, it's not an attractive benefit, and it's certainly, so for example, I'm chair of transportation, and IDOT has 200 engineering vacancies, because not only are they offering, $55,000 salary, they're offering a Tier 2 pension. And the private sector, if you're an engineering graduate coming out of U of I, the private sector is offering you 90, 401k and 6, paid family maternity leave and all the above. And so it is a challenge, because we do have a $45 billion capital plan that we need engineers at IDOT to administer.
Okay, anything based on that? And are there any members of the audience that would like to ask the senator a question?
I think the pensions question did it. But thank you again for your invitation. Thanks so much for all that you do for our residents, and I'm always here to help in any way I can.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we'll return to our agenda item number 9, discussion of possible vote on adoption of town fund, general assistance, and road and bridge levies. Dana, did you have some presentation on that, or some words on that? Okay.
Good evening. In your board packet, I provided the newly drafted 2023 town fund and general assistance levy, so you have that. And then also for comparison purposes, I included the 2022 levy ordinance for town fund and GA. So I know we briefly touched base on it last month. I don't think the board had too many questions or concerns. However, I want to make sure that the board, as well as the public, understand why it is being recommended that we do recommend an increase of 4.9%, which is of course the maximum amount that you can request before we call a referendum. So I just want to give you a couple of calculations. The calculation for the 4.9 increase for both funds, so we're looking at the total bottom line number, is $5,532,967. So this is a total increase of $239,413 from last year's levy. So I was curious to see the amount of tax dollars requested versus the tax dollars that we received over the last few years. So I took an average of the last 4 levies of the amount received. I looked from 2019 to 2022 over that 4-year period, and we asked for a total, or requested for a total of 17 million. However, we only received 10.4 million. So there was 7.1 million that was requested that we did not receive. Our yearly budget for town fund and GA averages anywhere between 4 to 5 million. And a reminder that there were 3 abatements over recent years, which obviously greatly reduced tax dollars that were coming in, and that totaled $5.8 million that were abated. So although we are starting just to build back up our reserves, as I stated earlier, I think that we should increase it by 4.9%. That is my suggestion.
Okay, and that is the amount that we put in our estimated levy that was published last month.
Correct. Which is the same one that you have.
And the other again is for the general town fund and the general assistance fund. Those are the 2 that we're talking about right now.
Correct.
The road district levy, of course, is separate, and there's been no increase in the fund. So, right, does anyone have any questions, Dana, regarding the levy that is up for a vote tonight?
To clarify, that's the maximum, I think you mentioned that, right? That's the maximum.
Yeah, correct.
Thanks.
I mean, we could go above that if we had a hearing or
Right.
something, but
Right.
without doing that. And as I think Susan will tell us, as she often has mentioned, just because we ask for that amount doesn't mean we're going to get it.
Correct.
It's, you know, it probably will be something less than that, although we don't know exactly what.
Sure.
All right, okay, thank you. All right, unless there are any, I think probably I should break this into 2 votes. The town fund and general assistance would be one, and the road district would be the other. Do I have a motion to pass the tax levy ordinance for Maine Township? This is for ordinance number 2023-3, and this would be for the tax year 2023. Have such a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions on this levy at this point? Can we have a roll call then?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Malik?
Yes. Thank you very much. All right, and as I mentioned just a minute ago, the road district is asking for the same amount as it has in the past. So may I have a motion to pass the Maine Township Road District tax levy ordinance for 2023. That's ordinance 2023-RB-3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any questions or comments on that? Okay, can I have a roll call then?
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes?
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher? Yes. Trustee Malik?
Yes.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. All right, now I'd like to go back to another matter of old business discussion and vote on the Lion contract. As you may recall, we received sort of this form contract from Lion. We asked that our attorney look it over and add some provision. Well, he's added some suggested provisions. Mike, are you here? Mike, just want to step over to the podium for a minute. So we got those suggested additions to the contract. And Mike, you want to tell us where we are with that right now?
Yes, so good evening, everyone. Unfortunately, since Supervisor Diamond did go ahead, the changes were made. She forwarded me what I needed, sent it out to the company, but had not heard back, unfortunately. I actually know that they were working in our area, so I took a trip out with our code enforcement officer to talk with them, and he did seem interested in still doing the job. They acknowledged that they did get the changes that were made, and it wouldn't really be a big deal. I said that I would be calling a couple of days later to get it scheduled, and since making those phone calls, have not gone anywhere, and made one at 3 o'clock today, and still no answer from them. So unfortunately, that is where we're at right now.
So we're just sort of waiting to get through to them this point.
Correct.
I think you did talk to him, and he didn't have any particular objections when you spoke to him, but yet he has not returned the written.
Right, so when I talked to him and I mentioned about the changes, he really didn't think there would be any problem with the changes that were made. So he did say like there's a smaller division that comes out to do some of the smaller jobs, and to go ahead and contact the office, which I did, and unfortunately still have not heard back.
Contractor not returning calls, that's a shocker.
Yeah, unfortunately, unfortunately.
Right. All right, at this point, I don't know what else to do other than just kick this over to next month. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I can look into some of the other companies that I reached out to as well. You know, I can call them a couple more times, and like I said, if that doesn't work, I can go to our next company that was, you know, that I had aligned as well.
Right. All right. Well, I guess that's all that we can do at this point.
Okay.
Thanks, Mike, for
Thank you.
staying on this project. I know it's taken longer than you probably thought it would. So we'll just wait and see what we can do. So one other thing I would like to discuss is something that we've discussed before. It's not up for a vote tonight, but just to circle back to the paid leave for all act. As you recall, we talked about this last month, and what it requires. The law requires is that we give part-time employees at least 1 hour of leave for every 40 hours they work. Now, it sounds like from what the Senator was saying today, I probably should get working on this policy. And I'm not really sure what to say in our policy, not asking for a vote, but just sort of your general feelings on this as to whether or not our policy should say 1 hour awarded for every 40 hours worked or every 38 hours worked. And remember, the reason was is that our part-time people work 19 hours a week. So they generally, now not all of our part-time people, but generally they earn 38, they work 38 hours during a pay period. And it just seemed like administratively it would be cleaner if they earned 1 hour per every 38 hours. We can certainly be more generous than the legislature has required us to be. You just have to give at least 1 hour for every 40 hours work. So again, I don't have anything for a vote tonight, and I don't have anything written up, but I just would like some direction from the board as to what they want me to do, how they want me to draft this. Thoughts?
That sounds fine. There were 19 hours? If they were 20, then it goes to...
I am aware. Right. So we are, part-time people are limited to 19 hours of work generally, or...
Once they hit 20, we have to start paying IRA.
Yeah, so that's why we do that. So...
Okay, I think we talked about you agreed on it.
Okay. All right, I don't know if some of the elected officials have any other feelings on that. Ed, you have your own personnel policy, so, you know, I think you can adopt whatever you want for your people. But Susan and Pete, your people are paid through the town fund, so I just want to hear what you have to say too.
I think it makes perfect sense, and from a bookkeeping standpoint, that certainly makes more sense as well to just keep the numbers the same.
Okay.
Plus, our employees work hard, I have no problem with
All right, I will keep that in mind for preparing this in the future. Thank you very much.
My position on that would be we should be generous and give them 1 hour for each 38 hours, as long as we don't get a lawsuit from full-time employees who think that's unfair somehow.
I don't think so. Our
From our-
full-time
it's
employees,
our attorney about that, but-
you know, considering the benefits that they're better off than the part-time people. So, all right, let's go to new business. Preliminary discussion of agency funding. Maybe a little update on this. Evan, would you like to step up to the podium and tell us where we've been so far in this process and where we have yet to go to complete this process?
So where we are right now is that the staff members who are all here did their personal recommendations. So in the board packet, you'll see recommendations, a long sheet of paper look like this. You'll see our personal recommendations for each agency that has applied. And then there's an employee average. So that is for you to look at, if you kind of see what our opinions are. For the most part, we align on a lot of agencies. So you just kind of have that. You are then to give your own personal recommendation. And then I'll do something very similar. I'll collect your personal recommendations, and then I do a board average, which is always to the right. So once I have all of your numbers in, I do the board average, and then I'll do the overall average. So I would like the numbers, your recommendations by December 8th. And then the staff will then meet, our plan is December 15th, and then we'll do our consensus recommendation, which then you will get the consensus recommendation in the next board meeting, and then you would vote if you want to pass, adjust, whatnot.
David, how should we get our recommendations to you? Can we email them to you?
Yep, I sent an Excel document to you all earlier today, so you just input the numbers, it'll automatically sum it up for you as well. You can email the Excel document, you can just email me your numbers, like on a Word document, you can send me paper notes, I really don't mind. Whatever method makes most sense to you will work out for me.
Okay, all right, thanks. Anyone have any questions about that?
No, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we will all be getting our numbers to you hopefully on a timely basis.
December 8th, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you. The next matter on our agenda is upcoming events. I put at your place an updated list of events, and I'm sorry we didn't get neighborhood watching there, but we got it in there. Next thing on the schedule is the paper shredding event, which is it's this Saturday. Meeting with the Maine Township officials regarding their bus service. That's going to be on December 4th. At 4 p.m. we're going to meet at the Maine Township office. Unless you want to come here first and ride with other members of the board, get here by 3:30 and you can carpool. So we've talked about that in the past, but if you have any other questions about that. It's not going to be a meeting. We are not going to talk about business. We are just going to listen to what Leanne has to say. Some of you met her at the conference. She's going to talk about their bus service and how it works. And we'll see the buses too, I think. The holiday lunch given by Maine Streamers is on, well, I skipped over it, sorry, December 6th, both the tree lit decorating with Lutheran General in the morning and neighborhood watch in the evening. December 12th, Maine Streamer holiday lunch. Marie, have you heard from all board members as to whether they're going or not?
Some of them, but the ones that have, if you could please be there by like 11:45, because we do introduce the elected officials, and then lunch is served at 12.
It's at a different location.
It's at Chateau Ritz, right here on Milwaukee.
Okay, thank you. December 16th, this is a tentative food drive at Golf Mill. We're still working on some of the details with that, so more about that later. Our employee holiday lunch is going to be on December 18th. Jenny's working on organizing that. January 3rd is Neighborhood Watch. And blood drive on the 12th. 13th of January, we're going to have a holiday lights recycling drive. I think you're working on that, is that right? And we might also have a possible styrofoam recycling drive the same day. But we're working with APP to see if that's going to be possible on that day. And then we have a Niles Maine presentation on January 16th. So you might want to hang on to the sheet of paper because it lists many of the things that we have coming up soon. All right, fine. Then one more thing under new business, again, not on your agenda, but I'm not calling for a vote. I'm just giving you some information to look at. In the stack documents on your table, you see a photocopy of parts of a website of the Illinois funds. Illinois funds are a possible investment that we might look into. You may have seen their booth at the Troy conference that we were just at. They allow public bodies to invest in their funds. And the attractive thing about this is their rates. So let me just back up and say, remember when we first came into office 2 years ago, this board, rates were very low. And we were getting 0 to 1%, no matter where we tried to invest. So we had a checking account. Then when rates went up a little bit, we opened money market accounts at Parkway, but rates continue to go up. And Illinois funds are offering, well, consistently through the past month, they've offered 5% or more on funds deposited with them. So I encourage you to look at this website, and it's got a lot of answers to frequently asked questions. It has the list of other public bodies who are investing in the Illinois funds. The attractive part about Illinois funds is that you can take your money in and out of it any time. It's not locked up for a period of time. You know, an alternative to this would be putting some of our funds in certificate of deposits at banks. But of course, then you've locked up your funds for a certain period of time. You know, something we could do, but the Illinois funds do have that as an advantage. So again, we'll return to this for more discussion, but I wanted to tell you about this and give you an opportunity to look at this website. You know, ask around about it if you wish, and we will return to discuss this later. And you know, if the elected officials have any opinions about this too, please let me know. All right, so let's turn to official reports. Susan, would you like to start off? I know you've been very busy lately.
We have been very busy. We're a little bit concerned with the on staff. We did have help from Jenny for a couple days, which was so appreciated in the morning to answer phones. It seems like every 5 minutes the phone is ringing and a ton of people walking in. Our problem is that we are overlapped with the tax bill coming out and appeals and the minus of exemptions, especially for the senior freezes. So we've been just inundated with the 3 different things at one time going on. And then I've had a little bit with staff, a little bit short on staff. We're hoping to get through what we have to do, but it's kind of, we're a little bit nervous about it. Staff is coming in now at 7:30 in the morning, taking half an hour for lunch. And I have one part-time person is gone, I had to schedule something. I have another part-time, we're going to ask if he could put in a full week every day. We also have reached out on the 6th with the Cook County Board of Review here at the township. Last week, Liz and I have been really busy with doing so much, but last week they informed us that they already had 70 people signed up for it, and it was last week. So we did have this reserve, and now we're reserving the downstairs. So it should be a big turnout, especially the way that the taxes have increased. You know, it's something that the assessor increased so many people, so much money. I just wish, Senator, that maybe something could be introduced where they would have to put a cap on what they can do yearly to these people. When you wake up, I mean, when you get your bill and you're looking at it and it's like $4,000 more, and you already budgeted for what you thought was reasonable. And that's not what is in front of your face. So it's been, a lot of people very, very upset and really dismayed with the county, with Cook County. And we try to, you know, help them out with an appeal that's not going to affect this installment, but is going to affect next year, 2023. This is already, it's a dead issue, you know, but, so that's what we got going on. And also, I see something that you're going to have a discussion later. I don't know if you saw this, got an email from Monday Top email, a registration for a free virtual educational. Did you get to see that?
Right, I think everybody's seen it.
Anybody else got to see it? And Ansel Blink, I think, is going to be
attorneys are speaking here.
Yeah, is going to be speaking. But it's the First Amendment audit training. We have auditors that come to us. It's going to be held December 13th via Zoom. So, no, something for us to put on our schedules. That's all. Thank you.
How's that going to work with the, using both the upstairs and the downstairs, and Samanda's dealings out here?
Well, there are going to actually be people from the Board of Review actually taking in appeals. But, so we thought we'd have them downstairs for people who don't want to stay and listen.
Oh, okay.
To everything, and they'll be set up downstairs for them to just do appeals down there, so. We're hoping it runs smooth. I don't know, you know, in different situations, when we have our triennial, our room is limited here, and people just keep coming in, you know, for presentation. So we want to make sure we're covered.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ed?
I just want to start by saying to Susan and Liz and your staff, I don't know how you guys do it every day, but if there was any way that I could help you, I would. But even if there's ever, you need somebody to bring you lunch or anything, just let us know, because your staff does an incredible work and they put in a lot of time. So a couple of events I just wanted to mention. I was able to attend the Veterans Day event at Prairie Lakes. Very nice event. I wanted to say the turkey giveaway, Thanksgiving event here was very well attended. So thanks to everybody who was involved in that. And one other thing is that we're doing the Toys for Tots over at the Highway Department through December 9th. So if anybody has any toys they want to donate to that, that would be appreciated. I know Trustee Malik has graciously gotten somebody to donate a few boxes of toys, so thanks to you for that. And that's it. So we're not meeting until after Christmas, right?
28th. Yes, the 28th.
Yeah, so Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody.
I just want to mention that along with most of you, was down at the Township Officials of Illinois Conference beginning of this month. After going for several years, it was really nice to be back and see some old friends and attend some classes and get back in the swing of things as far as being at a live conference. So it was very enjoyable, and I enjoyed spending time with all of you down there. And then I just wanted to acknowledge Eva as well as our FOIA officer, my excellent deputy clerk, chief deputy clerk. You know, I know it's not easy when somebody comes in and they're filming you and, you know, asking specific questions, kind of looking to get a response, but you did a great job and passed with flying colors, so couldn't be prouder of you.
Ed just reminded me when you mentioned Veterans Day that we had a table at the library staffed by Jenny, information for veterans regarding what we do here at that township. Kim?
I also attended the toy conference with many of the board members and found it to be very informative, and I agree it was good to be back. After a several year hiatus, I also was at the turkey giveaway, not last Saturday, but the Saturday before. It was well attended. And then again, I would like to invite everybody to attend the Neighborhood Watch meeting next Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And wish everybody a healthy and happy and safe holiday.
I really enjoyed coming out for the turkey giveaway, so thank you to everybody who worked really hard to get all those turkeys and to get everything set up. And then I also, last week, had the opportunity to come and use the township for my own personal use. I brought my whole family and we had to renew our passports. And the staff were wonderful and they made the whole process very easy, and it was very smooth. So it was a very nice service.
So congratulations to everybody who got acknowledged, Eva, but especially to Eddie and Jessica. I was there when that happened, when the purse was lost. And the sheriff was there immediately too, so kudos to him. The officer was right on it. I can't believe they got that purse back, so That was just a great job. And also, I had the benefit of attending another one of Marty's Recovery Connection meetings with Nick was there as well. It was an exceptionally good speaker who talked about, he was a high school athlete. I don't want to say the high school he went to, because it might identify him, but he was talking about his football career and then how he got into alcoholism, and just a really inspiring story how he changed his life from, you know, a high school athlete and a very good student at a very fine high school to a person who's on the street, homeless, and in jail, and, you know, all kinds of problems as a result of alcohol. And he recovered. He's in recovery, and it looks like it's a great lesson for recovery in general and for the great effort that people do to stay together to do it. That's it. Thank you.
Jim Cossett?
I first want to thank Care and Cure Vinod Jackar and Empower Women CSNN to help me for this event, turkey giveaway, and especially our Maine Township employee Mike, Monica, Jessica, and Eddie to help me for this event. And then I also want to thank my colleague, all board members who helped me for this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, I think that is it for our official reports, unless anyone has got anything else they want to mention. In which case, we will now be going into closed session, I believe, although we may return to open session for a possible vote on building security improvements. I'm not sure if we will or not, but I just want to let the attendees know that's a possibility. So what I do need now is a motion to go into closed or executive session for the purpose of discussing, 1, litigation, which is probable or imminent, 2, security procedures, and use of personnel or equipment to respond to an actual, a threatened, or a reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, staff, public, or public property. And 3, discussing the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees. So there's 3 reasons for going into executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for those 3 reasons?
Motion to go into executive session for those 3 reasons.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a roll call.
Supervisor Diamond?
Yes.
Trustee Jones?
Yes.
Trustee Horvath?
Yes.
Trustee Maher?
Yes.
Trustee Moore?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. As I mentioned, we may return for one vote, but we may not. So if we don't see you, have a good evening and a great holiday.